and she would have been 10 at the time, like my 10-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old son loaded up the red wagon with rolls of toilet paper.
No.
And they went door to door and sold every single roll. And I have video of them like running door to door because as soon as they realized that people were buying it, they were so excited.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Just like that little taste of like, wow, if I work harder, I'll make more money.
Okay, welcome to the Maven Experience. We've got a special guest today, Cory Torgesen.
It's good to be here.
Welcome, man. So me and Cory go way back. My rookie year in Virginia Beach, 2010, Cory was one of the managers on the team.
It's crazy how long it's been.
2010, my rookie season.
It's now 2023.
2023.
13 years later, and we're still here.
We're still here, man. This is cool. I was actually, when I heard you were coming back to Vivint and Evo, I was pumped.
That's good.
I was excited.
That's good. I'm glad you felt that way.
Yeah. You were, so you don't know this, but yeah, you actually had a big impact on me my rookie season. So, yeah, dude, just.
Because I managed your area.
You did.
That was like, that's a big, like, that can have a big impact on like where you're at.
You made sure I had the juice, right?
That's right.
So I did so good. It was all about the area.
Keep trenting the good hood.
Yeah,
I forget, what kind of area did you like knocking? When you, like, do you remember?
So I tell my guys this. I don't even know. I think I just went to the area and just knocked.
Yeah.
Like when you're a rookie, you don't really have a preference.
Sure, you don't know anything different.
You have nothing to compare to.
See, before that, before I got into alarms, I sold satellite for a couple years. And you don't sell satellite in like low income, typical alarm areas. We knocked nicer areas. So when I first came into alarms and I got put into more rough areas, I was like, this is not for me. Put me somewhere else. So I've never liked knocking like that kind of stuff. But some people do great there.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
So yes, coming from satellite, you'd knock more middle upper class.
Yep.
So how long have you been doing sales?
So first summer was 2006, knocking with someone that people that watch this podcast might know, Adam Nelson. So Adam and I were going to college together at BYU, and we went to Denver and sold satellite. And it was fun. At the time, we sold DirecTV and Dish Network, and we had both on our shirt. So we would just switch over all day long. If they had Dish, we sold them DirecTV. DirecTV sold them Dish,
crazy.
Just back and forth. We did that for a couple years before we joined on at Vivint.
And maybe, why did you guys leave DirecTV? We're satellite.
Yeah, the company that we were working for went under, so that made it really easy.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I met Cheyenne Thatcher, who we work with now, and met him at BYU, and was ready to rock and roll with Apex at the time.
Apex Alarm. So actually, I'm curious. So it's a chance for me because I got you locked in right here, so we can chat and I can get some details. So how did you meet Cheyenne? You guys had a class together, or like how did the universe make that happen?
There is a good story on that one. So when Atlas went under in the fall, we didn't get our back end checks. So we found out that some guys were going to Pinnacle, some guys were going to Apex, so we were all kind of shopping around. And me and Adam and some other guys, we went and met with Alex Dunn, and he's like, "You need to come work here. Like Apex is where it's at." It's like, if you'll come work here, I'll just pay your back end check. And we're like, that sounds pretty cool because we're not going to get one.
Yeah.
And he just took our word for it. He's like, "How much did they owe you?" And I told him, and he pulled out his checkbook and he wrote the check.
Dang.
And he's like, "Here's your back end check. Go find a manager." And I was like, "All right, sweet." So it was the next day I was in Subway at BYU, and Cheyenne had an Apex hat on. I was like, "Oh, Apex, that's cool. I work there too." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool." And he kind of wrote me off as just a fellow Apex guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Only problem is I don't have a manager yet."
No.
And of course, Cheyenne's like,
he's like,
eyes
"What?
lit up.
Like, what do you mean you don't have a manager yet?"
Yep. So we ended up eating lunch together, and we were supposed to meet with someone at Pinnacle later that day. And I was like, "Hey, Adam," because he was my roommate. I was like, "We need to go meet Cheyenne before we sign up with Pinnacle." So I like to tell people that I kind of helped recruit Adam to get Adam here. So everybody that's worked with Adam, like, you're welcome.
If it wasn't for Cory,
Wasn't
Adam
for
wouldn't
Cory.
be here.
But no, I just like to push his buttons on that. Like Adam and
Yeah.
I came together. I don't take any credit for like recruiting Adam. We came together. So,
That's fun.
but
So you were going to go to Pinnacle, but you met with Cheyenne. Anything that stood out to Cheyenne on like why you picked Cheyenne to work with him?
Cheyenne's a genuine guy. I've just always felt like I could count on Cheyenne and rely on him. So, and he's been that way.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
That's probably why he is where he is.
That's right.
You can tell he's very genuine, cares about his people. It's kind of easy. Like some people have a radar for that, right? Like you can tell if people are genuine or if they're putting on a show or, so yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
So you guys came to Apex Alarm, and then where was your first summer with Apex?
Dallas, 2008, which was also the first year that they started the Cup. So we like to brag that we were the first ones to ever win the Cup. It was cool. We did 4,000 accounts that summer.
Dang.
That was cool.
4,000
A huge team. I think we had like 50 reps.
You had Kevin Trost on that
Trost,
team.
Yep. Adam Nelson, Skylar Dyer,
Skylar Dyer.
Brandon Thurman.
Oh, Thurman was on that team in Dallas.
Thurman.
And Chris Grover.
Yeah, Chris Grover. Tim
Who-
Sundles.
Tim Sundles. Where's Tim right
Well, I don't
now?
know where some of these people are at.
What's up, guys? Hey,
Maybe they'll tune in the podcast.
you guys see this? Hit us up.
Yeah,
let's
would love to hear from you
touch
guys.
Base. That's cool. So you went to Dallas. You guys smacked it up, won the Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Dallas, it was California, Lancaster.
Then me and Adam just broke off, did our own team right in the middle of the recession. The economy was kind of tanking. But me and Adam, you know, we like to pick areas that were cool and fun to recruit to. So we're like, yeah, let's go to LA. And you would think, like growing up listening to Snoop Dogg and like all these artists that were from Compton and stuff, talking about like guns and killing people, that there would be crime. We went to Compton and Inglewood, and there's no crime here, boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's all a facade.
It's all a facade, or they're just completely in denial. But there's like hardly any alarms, and so yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of luck in Compton. Maybe people have had luck there since, but we didn't.
You're like, this is supposed to be like crazy gangland stuff, and it wasn't.
Yep. So we ended up moving up to Lancaster and Palmdale, and basically did the whole summer there, which was amazing that it worked out.
Yeah.
And then it was the summer after that I worked with you.
And then Bob Beach
I'll
next
Beach
year.
with you.
2010, Bob Beach. That was cool. Do you remember anything about me coming in back then? Is a long time ago.
I remember you were just young, kind of frat boy, and you came with Kale and I think Jason Clark. Was he there that summer
A couple
too?
years later, it
That
was
was a couple
Austin
years-
Evans
Austin. Yeah.
or Austin. So it was me, Kel, and Austin
Okay.
came out. Yeah, Virginia was cool. I don't remember much about it other than actually
that
no. I
summer-
take that back. I remember a lot about it because it was my rookie season.
Okay.
My rookie season, I remember a lot about. I guess it's just because it's like everything's so new.
Sure.
It's like your first sale, your first.
Yeah.
like,
After the first year, all the other years just kind of start to blend together. But
yeah.
what do you remember about Virginia Beach?
I remember the apartment. I remember where we lived. Like I remember a lot. What the main things that stand out, I think, were like I call them like the life defining moments. It's like those times where it gets really hard and you push through it. And so I share this with a lot of my guys. But there was one day that I was in Adam's car, and it was doing the Virginia little rainstorm / monsoon.
Yeah, because when it rained
Dude,
hard.
it was like
Yeah.
this day though. It was the water was hitting the ground and then bouncing up off the ground higher than the car.
Crazy.
Like we were like the windshield wipers were going like this,
Crazy.
and I remember Adam like it's like 2:00 and he's like dropping me off my hood. I'm like,
I'm gonna be
"Holy
soaked."
cow, dude! I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, it was like back then. You guys were just like, this is what we do. Like this is how this is, and this is why we make the money that we make, and this builds character, and this is why we do this job for moments like this. So I remember getting out of the car and just like splashing across the street,
Go find a porch.
finding a porch, knock the door,
Wait to leave that porch so you find another porch.
got in.
Yeah.
Like I was like, hey, just let me in the house. Like I've got this pamphlet. My manager's making me work out here. Like, can I just come in? And I went in, closed it,
No way.
got the tech there, And I was like, it was still coming down. Still coming down. So I look out the window. I'm like, all right, I gotta leave. Run across the street to another porch. Same thing. Hey, it's crazy out here. I'm like, my manager's making me work today. I've got this little pamphlet. Can I just like come in and show it to you really quick? I closed 4 deals that day.
Oh my gosh. In the rain.
In the rain.
That's awesome.
And I think the team
no
did
excuses.
5. I think Adam had 1 go in, and then I
You
did the other 4 because everybody else was like sitting in gas stations or whatever. I don't know what's going on.
Solid.
So that was like one of those moments. It was like those like life defining moments that you decide to push through like the hard stuff. So there's one day that it like stands out. I can like remember the doors I hit that day, which is cool.
That's crazy. What city was it in? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
Crazy.
I know that I can like see the neighborhood. It's like 14 years ago. It was like,
how many did you end up doing that summer?
176 sold.
Solid.
Funded.
Your first
I think
year?
like 150-ish.
Yeah.
That's with extended. I had a big extended. I think I did.
That's amazing for a
30
rookie
extended.
season.
Yeah.
So
That was good. It was a fun year. And the time I was there, because you were getting ready to go to law school.
yeah, I started law school that fall.
So I want to talk a little bit about that. So, because when I came on talking with Adam and Cheyenne, because I was like, hey, I want to get into management. Like the whole reason that I'm even looking at doing this is because I heard the managers made crazy good money and they only had to work for, 4 or 5 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, get me in that position. And Adam was like, well, hey, my manager, Cory's like, he's going off to law school. So if you do everything right and you work hard and you hit the numbers you need to hit, he's like, it'd be a perfect time where you can kind of step in. So
Yep.
I was looking forward to you leaving. No, I'm just kidding.
That's cool. That's good.
It was good, but it was good. It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out good.
But so tell me about that. So you got into sales. Was it kind of your end game was, hey, I'm just going to do this to get me to law school, like get me through law school, or what was your thought process there?
Yeah, so I grew up, like my dad worked for the railroad. He didn't have a college degree. Neither did my mom. I pretty much grew up on a ranch. So like the thought of ever working in sales, that was never on my radar.
Where'd you grow up?
Mostly in Idaho.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So I'm basically Idaho farm boy. So it's kind of unusual to think like, oh yeah, I'm going to be like some big shot sales guy. I never thought I would ever do sales. And then when I was in college and someone showed me a pay scale and that was Dish Network. And it was like, I can make 10, 15,000 in a summer. And I was just like, wow, that would be awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I signed up and went, and it was me and Adam Nelson. We shared a car, and Adam had a great summer because Adam always wanted to beat me by 1. So if I did 2 that day, Adam would do 3. If I did 3, Adam would do 4. So we just had a lot of just always pushing each other to compete. Mm-hmm. I think competition in sales is so important because the job can get boring and monotonous. So it's fun when you have someone that pushes you.
Yeah.
Adam was great at that. I always wanted to keep up with Adam, and he just always wanted to beat me. And he always did every summer.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into sales, but never saw sales as being like the long-term goal. Right. I was studying business in college, and ever since I watched Mighty Ducks and the coach for the hockey team had a limousine, I was like, I want to be a lawyer someday. That way I can have a limo, and the limo can pick me up. So that's what I wanted. And unfortunately, it was not like that when I graduated law school.
So so what happened? So you left. So Virginia Beach summer ends, and you've been saving up to pay for law school.
Yep.
So yeah, kind of walk me through that because that's kind of where we parted ways. Like, hey, thanks, Cory, awesome, and you're like, hey, see you guys, and then it's kind of it for a little bit.
Yeah, and then I did see you again the summers, but not but not during the year. Like you and Adam were recruiting and building the team, and I wasn't managing anymore. So yeah, I did.
I think there was 1 year though. Yeah, so you did 1 year law school,
and then we worked together in Atlanta, Macon and Warner.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that summer, and then I think it was the summer after that. So after my second year of law school, then we were in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So still, even during law school, like that's how I paid for law school, was knocking doors, which was great. Like my classmates would do internships, like working for free in the summer. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like I would do free internships during the school year. So it took a little more time, but I was able to do it. So then, I graduated law school with no debt, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Especially because I was married and had kids at the time. So super grateful that this job made that possible. But it was definitely disappointing when I finished law school and the law firm that I had been working at was like, yeah, we'd like you to work here and we'll pay you 30 grand. And you're like, this is what I worked for? Like, this is what
30 grand?
So,
That's crazy.
yep, that's like, attorneys are not, they're not like paid that well. It's not like Suits.
Yeah.
Like people watch Suits and they
yeah.
think everybody's like that. It's
Yeah.
it's not like that.
Are
So-
you paid? I don't know much about that area, but are you paid based off of like the cases you win? Is that how it works? Or like if you win a case and the person you're
Yeah.
working with wins the lawsuit, you get a piece of that, or is that kind of how it works?
Yep, it can be that way. But like fresh out of law school, like you're not going to be taking cases like that. You're just going to be working for someone else.
Right.
So they're taking the lion's share of it. And then
They're
you do
like,
the
"Hey,
grunt
thanks
work.
for your help. Thanks for doing all the paperwork."
Yeah, you do the grunt work and they take the bulk of the pay. That's what it is. So I even ended up practicing law for a couple of years, and like that's what it was. It's
Yeah.
like being a lawyer is not this glorious thing of being in the courtroom and like all the fanfare.
Right.
Most of the time is at a desk in an office writing.
Oh my gosh.
So
That sounds
door-to-door sales is way more fun.
way more
Being
adventurous.
out and about, like interacting
Talking
with
to people.
Yep.
That's cool. So crazy. So you did law for a couple of years, and then you went and what happened after that?
I got back into sales.
Got back into sales.
Doing solar.
Okay.
So yeah.
And that was when Vivint just started doing Vivint Solar.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go there first, or or was there a company before that?
No, Vivint Solar first.
Vivint Solar.
Yep.
So you were part of that pioneer group that when it first launched.
Yes.
Who else? Who were a couple other guys that were doing that with you?
Helped open up New Jersey. Nick Hansen, who was a guy that I had known from Atlas. That was me and Adam's regional manager, back in the day. So we helped open up New Jersey and get that going off the ground. Like at the time, it was basically California and Hawaii, and then New Jersey and New York. That was basically it for solar. Now, like solar is pretty much everywhere. It will be everywhere if we keep going too.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're not done.
It's on fire right now. What year was that you were in New Jersey?
So that was 2013.
So 10 years ago.
Well, I guess 2014.
2014.
Yep. 9 years ago.
10 years. So for all the guys that are out there on the solar gold rush right now, this guy's been doing it for the last 9 or 10 years. So you caught on early. So you worked at Vivint for a little bit, and then did you end up doing your own thing?
And then I went to Arizona for a little while with Vivint Solar, and then the utilities there were not being super cooperative with solar, and Vivint was kind of going a different direction. So that's when I did my own thing for a little while. And
I remember, sorry to cut you off. I remember when, because there was a point where we were trying to get like the smart home and the solar stuff to like work together. This was like back in 2016 or 17, I think.
yeah, Vivint Plus.
Yeah, Vivint Plus. And I went up to work with Brian Brownlee up in New Jersey
Nice.
for like a week.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of like try to mesh some. I actually moved one of my branch off teams, Greg Nottingham and Chase Johnson. I had just left Utah to go to Texas, so 2017. So I moved to Texas, and then I went to Austin, and I sent 2 of my managers to Philadelphia.
Wow.
So they were going to live in Philadelphia with Brian Brownlee, and they were going to do that
Crazy.
Vivint Plus.
Greg Nottingham.
Yeah.
Went to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
They
And who
moved
was
their
the other
families
guy?
out there. Chase Johnson,
Chase. Okay.
Cameron, Willis, and Greg. Yeah, Greg, Chase, and Cam. So my 3 of my like branch off guys went up there, moved their families into U-Haul, and because we were under the impression that was what was going to happen.
Yeah,
but under the table there was like they hadn't quite finalized it yet.
Yep.
Couldn't figure out pay and some other stuff. So after I think they were there for like 3 or 4 weeks, it just wasn't working out. So then we ended up pulling the plug and then moved to San Antonio.
Yep.
So they stayed in San Antonio and I was in Austin doing the GM program.
Yep.
And then 2 years of the GM program, I was like, I got to go back
Yeah.
to Summers. So then I moved up to Dallas. But
At that point, Vivint Smart Home and Vivint Solar were kind of going 2 different ways, and they kept trying to like bridge it.
yeah,
But that wasn't like the long-term trajectory.
yeah. Now it's working out great.
It is working out great. It helped a lot having Bywater come back to the helm at Vivint. That was the CEO of Vivint Solar, and then after they were acquired by Sunrun, he came back over and he was all for solar. So it was great just from the top down, just clearing the air and making sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
It's fun to have him back.
How's California now with the
NEM 3.0.
NEM 3.0?
That's what they say. Basically, the utility companies are not buying back power for like retail rates. So people are going to have batteries pretty much all the time. That's kind of the standard now. And a lot of guys are having uncertainty about the industry or think that it's like going to slow things down. I actually think it's pretty exciting because most states now don't have net metering. So we're hoping that what's happening in California will help put pressure on innovation and manufacturing for batteries and increase competition, help bring the cost down, help us get batteries out so that solar can be more independent and we can stand on our own 2 feet and quit being so reliant on the utility companies.
Yeah.
So
utility companies push back though pretty hard on that, huh?
they do.
They don't want you to be independent.
Well, they don't want to have to buy your power. They'd rather you be independent if you're going to go solar.
Right.
They can't stop you from going solar. They don't want to buy your power back at retail
gotcha.
prices. Yeah.
They're like, no, fine.
Yeah, they'd rather if you're gonna go solar, then be independent.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Got it.
So I think it's exciting. I'm hoping that what happens in California will really make it so that we can just do solar pretty much anywhere if we can be independent and have batteries.
Because when you add the batteries, it just essentially makes it to where you're not. Because the whole solar pitch is like, hey, we're going to save you money, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you add a battery to the overall cost,
Makes
now
it really difficult to save money.
You're not really saving. So now you're selling on go green.
Yep.
Other than just price.
That's right. And you see what happens with electric cars right now, like the amount of innovation and new releases on electric vehicles over even just the last year because of what happened in California. I hope that the same thing happens with batteries and solar. So we'll see.
Gets more effective. Gets more effective or more efficient. Cool, man. And so, here we are. There's a lot of people doing solar right now. You've been paving the way for everybody. So appreciate your hard work in the industry.
You guys are paving the way. We're just coming in after you. You guys are the ones out there grinding, making it possible, teeing up the leads.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, dude. We have a great group out here. And so it's been super effective because at least with us at Vivint, I feel like it's so much easier to sell solar when they already have a product. Mm-hmm. Like that's been, I think, the biggest eye opener for me is like they already have a product that they love. They're with a company they've already established trust with.
Yep.
And so for them to sign up, it's like that. It's that one thing that sets us apart from the other big ocean of solar companies that are all very similar because everybody kind of uses the same panels and same lenders and things like that. So it's just a different uniform a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
Is that really kind of how the industry is?
It's exactly how it is. What's cool about like Vivint Smart Home is when you guys are out selling smart home, you have cool products. Like when you're up head to head with another competitor, it's pretty easy to find some way that like your product is better, that it's different, and people get excited and they see the features and they're like, yeah, that gives them a benefit, and like they get excited, they want to sign up. Mm-hmm. Solar is just like black rectangles up on the roof. They don't interact with it. There's very little opportunity for there to be differentiation.
Right.
Which means when you don't have differentiation, it just becomes cost.
Yep.
Like it becomes a race to the bottom. Mm. So
then everybody's battling each other until there's no margins, and then these companies go out of business.
Exactly. So what I love about Vivint is like you guys are out there, you're selling smart home. They buy, they get instant validation when you guys show up and the smart home's installed, and they get to see that the product is top notch, it's high quality. So then they just connect that the solar is going to be high quality too, that we're going to match, and that we can bundle them together and they can save money. You guys tee it up perfectly. So we're able to do what most companies can't, which is differentiate. We're not just selling only on cost. So it helps protect the margins for the company, protect the margins for the sales reps, and we offer something that's different. So I love being back at Vivint.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let me ask you this. So somebody that's maybe setting for a different company or thinking about being a setter in solar, what would be the benefit of them setting at Vivint?
So most companies, the setters are like entry-level guys. That's where they cut their teeth. That's where they get started. They'll usually make like 30% of the sales commission on solar. And that's pretty good money considering that really all they're doing is knocking the doors, taking a picture of the bill and setting an appointment, which takes some skills, but it doesn't take the same skills as it takes to like sell a smart home.
Right.
And the leads are definitely not as sticky. Like I would much rather show up to one of your leads where you've already sold smart home.
Oh, they love me.
They're already a Vivint customer.
Lay down.
There you go. Yeah, they love you.
They love me.
They love Vivint. They love the product.
Yeah.
They've already bought Vivint. You have actually sold something, which means that you learned sales skills. Like you know what you're doing, and like you have a skill set. And I don't know that like just knocking doors, taking pictures of bills, you're not developing your career as a sales guy just by doing that. And usually in those like setter closer models, they start out as a setter and then they want to transition to a closer.
Right.
And it's a pretty big jump going from a setter to a closer. So what's really cool about Vivint is like new guys that are coming in, you are training them sales skills. You teach them how to sell smart home. They learn a skill set. And then later, after they have those skills dialed in, if they want to like talk about doing solar, we can do that. But they actually have a skill set. And it's a much smoother transition than just being a door knocker who sets appointments. I think it's crazy for someone who is selling smart home, and especially when they first get started, because it's definitely harder to learn to sell smart home than it is to learn to set appointments for solar.
For sure.
So I think it's a distraction sometimes for guys that they want to get started at Vivint, especially rookie reps, or, maybe if you're on the fence thinking about coming and working here, and you're like, well, I think I'd rather just go solar because it's easier. Sure, it might be easier, but at some point, if you want to progress in your career as a salesperson, you're going to have to learn to sell.
Yeah.
So just have someone like Trent teach you how to sell, and then you'll have a skill set. And someday, if you want to get into solar, at least you've learned how to sell, and you didn't just go knock doors and take pictures of bills.
Yeah. I mean, you're learning pullbacks, negotiating skills, all that stuff. I feel like it does get pretty deep into like the sales world. Yeah. So you establish a more advanced, I guess, skill set.
Yep.
In sales.
And then you get to make all the money on smart home from your sales, and then you're teeing up leads, and you're getting to split the commission. Whereas, usually in a setter closer model, it's more like a 60-40 or 70-30 split, something like that.
Yeah.
And here, you're splitting it 50-50.
Is it a pain point for some companies? Because, a lot of these setters, they're not getting paid until the deal gets installed, like for other companies. And maybe the company, they have an M1, right, where they're advancing you some money on your deals. But if they don't go in,
Gets clawed
getting
back.
clawed back, and so it's this big back and forth. Like you think your check's going to be this, and all of a sudden it's not because they already paid you. So at least what our guys have experienced is they're paying their bills with the smart home money. Every Friday they're getting paychecks.
Yeah, and their job's already installed. Like
Yeah,
they sold the smart home, they got it installed.
Yeah, and they're getting paid. It's right then, and then all the solar money that's coming, that's not the money they're relying on.
It's like bonuses.
In our office, we call it Christmas money.
There you go.
Because that's about when it's getting installed.
Yeah,
It's around Christmas.
it's around Christmas. That's true.
Especially in Florida. So we're just like, hey, set the leads and you'll have some good Christmas money.
Yep.
So that's how we look at it. out
Smart
here.
home's like the bread and butter, and like solar is the steak. Like whatever, however you want to call it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So if you're not taking advantage of solar, like take advantage of it, right? It's a good opportunity, which I think a lot of companies are at least trying to add it. I know some pest control companies are trying to add solar to their platform. And
Oh yeah, everyone and their mom wants to sell solar right now.
yeah,
That's
you see it out there on the doors. I mean, it's hard to even say solar now without the customers like, oh, another solar guy.
yeah. Doesn't matter what you're selling. If you're knocking doors in most states, they assume that you're selling solar.
Yeah. So, but again, back to what sets us apart is like, hey, we're different.
We're different.
We're different. We're not just like everybody else that's come by. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's more fun to knock doors leading with smart home. You're like, yeah, I'm not the solar guy.
yeah.
Like we'll help them get solar later, but like when we knock on the door, we're there to help them get started with smart home.
Some cool tech, the doorbell cameras,
That's right. It's way more fun.
the fun stuff.
Yep.
It really is a fun product to sell.
People love technology.
New techie stuff, cameras, and then the fact that we can set the solar after that. And it's so easy to set the solar after they buy smart homes. So easy.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I feel like anyone who's wanting to sell solar, like if you want to sell solar, just come back to Vivint. Like a lot of people that are in our industry at some point they've been here, they know someone that's been here, and
Yeah.
people just think that Vivint is like a smart home company, but smart home includes solar. Like we're pressing forward with solar just as much as we are smart home. Like it's ingrained in the business now.
What are some of the pain points that new setters have in the industry? Can you think of it? Like what do some new guys that are getting into solar, what are some of the struggles that they'll encounter?
I think it only takes about a week or two of setting appointments before you realize that most appointments no show. So whether you're working at Vivint and you're selling smart home and then you're teeing up a lead for the next day or the next week or whenever, or if you're just out knocking doors selling solar and you're setting appointments for next week, most appointments, they don't show. It is what it is. People have lives. Like we already interrupted them once knocking on their door. We're lucky that they listened to us in the first place, so then we want to come back another time. That's another benefit of, like, one of the reasons I love the leads here is you guys have already sold the smart home, and if we can just come in while the tech is there, you don't have to get another appointment. So, like rookies who are just getting started and want to make money selling solar too, if you're out there right now and you're knocking doors just setting appointments and you have nothing to hang your hat on, come here and sell smart home. Because now they're installed, they got instant validation, they love the company, and if you are setting an appointment, it's that much more sticky. But even once you're here and you're doing that, I would still prefer that you don't set the appointment. Just get us in there right away and like let's close it while the tech is there. Like those are the stickiest appointments. So like rookies who are just getting started, learn to sell. Don't just sell appointments.
Yeah. It's crazy because even out here, we've noticed that the customers that have the closer sit down while the technician is drilling in the background, they're closing. They're buying.
Yeah.
That's cool.
In sales, I say like second money is easier than first money because the customers, they're open. They have more open mind to change a new opportunity. Like sometimes people like, it's almost like it has a negative connotation, like the wallet's open, you're like taking it. It's not that, it's that they have an open mind. That's one of the hardest things in sales is to get people out of the status quo and get them to change to something better. And I really feel like when they go solar, they are changing to something better. So the second money is easier than first money. You guys broke down the walls, they're open-minded, and we can come in and help them add to the change.
That's awesome. What are some of the challenges that the closers encounter? Like what's the hardest part about being a closer? Driving to appointments that aren't there all day. No show.
Yeah,
gas
for sure.
money.
House is like completely surrounded by trees. Like
Yeah.
That definitely happens.
You roll up and you're like, the rep's like, oh, bro, they want solar. This is a lay down. And and you pull up.
Like,
and
hey, I scheduled this appointment next week. It's a lay down, like for sure. And then like the customer doesn't even show up. Yeah, I mean that definitely happens.
Do you think that's like for the hardest part for a closer or like pain points?
Oh, I'm trying to think of like any one like single specific thing. I think that like being a closer in solar, there's all kinds of challenges. I feel like in the industry overall, like people will post like big checks, whether it's on Instagram or whatever, or they brag about all the money that happens in solar. But most people have no idea like how much time was spent beforehand to get that account in the first place and how much work went into it after the fact. So like, you know, if someone posts a $10,000 check that they got on solar and like, this is awesome, you know, one deal, $10,000. Well, they may not have told you that they worked like 2 weeks before they ever got that one sale. They got them 10 grand and then it took them a month afterwards of managing the pipeline to ever get it installed. Like they earned their money. I think there's like peak performers in solar. There's peak performers in smart home. They're all making great money. And there's other people that are just bouncing around, always chasing the money and forgetting that it all takes work. Like being a closer in solar, it takes skill set of being like, you have to have dialed in sales skills. And you have to be incredibly organized. Get your pipeline across the finish line. It's not just like chasing lay downs, easy sales. It's not that.
Yeah, I feel like from what I've noticed with a lot of closers is, it's managing the pipeline, I think can get super crazy. Like you've got to be on top of it because you got this guy canceling and rescheduling, and then a new lead comes in, and then that guy's like, oh, I got not there. You got to try and contact them. It's like
Names
there any
don't
programs
match on
out
the
there?
paperwork.
Yeah. Is there any programs out there that make that stuff easier?
Concierge. Yeah, like
Okay.
Vivint has
Is that what you
concierge,
use?
which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I could give a little plug for that.
Okay.
So that our guys can just focus on selling and like let someone else help and manage their pipeline.
Oh, okay.
That's
so we
cool.
actually have people that do that for them.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes their life a lot easier with the schedule. Hashtag still here.
Still here.
We're still here.
That's right. Why are you still here, Trent?
I mean, dude, it's been super cool. I mean, I've been here this is actually my 14th summer, which sounds crazy to say because in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'll do it for 5 years. I kind of like subconsciously had this, like, I'll do it for 5 years, see how it goes, right?
And now you're married and you have
Married, I got four
kids.
kids. Oldest is 9. Yeah, it definitely the job gets a lot harder as you get kids and stuff like that, especially the summers.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I do it for the lifestyle. I do it for them, right? It's like I'm out here slinging and working, and so I can provide a better life for my wife and kids.
No doubt.
And the off season's great, you know, when the back end money does hit, and you're able to invest and take the family on vacation and stuff like that.
We have so much freedom and autonomy in this job. You know, like sometimes, like you said, the family, it can be a little rough in the summer, but the other 8 months of the year are pretty awesome.
Yeah, a lot of freedom. For me, I feel like it's good that the kids see that I work. Like they see that dad makes sacrifices for the family. You know, at least I hope that's how they view it.
Yeah.
My dad worked a bunch growing up. Like he was a CPA. He's actually been working at the same firm since he graduated from BYU.
Wow.
And he's 63, so he's about to retire in a couple of years.
Same company his whole career.
Company the whole
That's
time.
awesome.
So he's been there and he's put in the grind. And yeah, I mean, he showed me what hard work is. During tax season, March, April,
Madness.
sleeping in the office, like he has pallets of monsters in the garage that he's just chilling. So he taught me how to work for sure. And yeah, hopefully my kids get that, you know, from me as well. But yeah, what I love about this is for me, I love the mentorship of it, honestly. Like the sales is fun. I love that, but I get a lot more out of it when I'm with the guys, when I'm with the team, when I'm in the trainings, or I get to watch these guys sell, watch them succeed. Because as a manager, you get to watch these kids come in at 18, 19, 20 years old. And a lot of them have never even like lived outside of mom and dad's house yet. And so you get to kind of watch these guys go through that stage of adulthood pretty much, like coming in from fresh out of high school, and you get to watch them for a couple of years, like turn into men. And I've been able to watch them go from men to fathers, husbands, right?
Yep.
And watch them progress, which for me is super cool. And then the money's there too. The money's great. But I love the growth aspect of it, because when you do stuff that's super difficult, I mean, that's where we get our growth from. You got to tackle the hard shit.
Yes.
It's like you're always going to you're going to come to these points in life where you can either go left or right. Left is like the easy route.
Yeah.
Comfort, easy. Take the right turn, you know that's tough. Like you look down that path and no one's down there. That's the hard road to go. But if you keep taking the left, easy, comfortable decision every time, where do you end up? Average, mediocre life.
Working for someone else.
Building somebody else's dream.
On someone else's schedule.
So,
have your kids ever asked you if you have a real job? Or like...
The kids just
question
think
the
that I go to the
legitimacy?
office and play basketball and ping pong all day.
Which we do that,
Which
too.
might have some truth to it.
But we're working. We're recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, they're old enough now, like they know like that dad sells, you know, door to door and sells, you know, cameras and solar.
Well, last week, my daughter, she's in 6th grade, so she's at that point where, you know, the classes that she's taking at school could have some impact, you know, eventually on like what she's going to be when she grows up.
Oh, yeah.
So we were talking about like, I don't remember the exact context, but it was like the job that she was going to have someday. And I just remember like talking to her about like all the options that she was throwing out involved her working for someone else. We just kind of talked about the advantages and benefits of like working for someone else. That's all you learn at school. Like at school, they don't really, especially in elementary middle, even high school.
Nurse, firefighter.
Yeah, it's all the safe routes. What you said, like the easy, safe route. They're not teaching entrepreneurialism in middle school. So I was just like, why do you want to work for someone else? Like, I don't really feel like you and I work for someone else. Like, yeah, we have people that we work with, but I don't ever feel like our leaders are looking over our shoulder or like making sure that we clock in at 9 and we're there till 5. We have so much freedom and independence. And our pay scale, like our income, is completely dependent on the effort that we put in. So I remember like talking to my daughter about how, yeah, if you pick any one of these jobs, you're going to work these hours and you're going to make this money. But there's other opportunities where if you work a little more or you work a little harder, like then you have the opportunity to make way more. And if you can just build the company yourself, then you'll give other people jobs. And I don't know, it's just,
that's cool.
I feel like that's what we do. Like we have the opportunity to help other people experience what we've experienced. It's independence and freedom, and it's fun. It's rewarding.
That's cool. You're having those conversations now with the kids, which is crazy that they don't teach that in school. I understand why. Obviously, but.
So I have a video I wish I could show you when COVID hit, and there was like shortages of toilet paper.
Yeah.
I was
I was stressing.
Oh yeah,
I was stressed,
we
bro.
were all stressing. But it was only shortages of toilet paper at the grocery store. If you had connections to like a commercial supply company, they had plenty of toilet paper.
Stocked.
So I went to a commercial like supply place and bought a bunch of huge boxes of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And she would have been 10 at the time, like my 10-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old son loaded up the red wagon with rolls of toilet paper.
No.
And they went door to door and sold every single roll. And I have video of them like running door to door because as soon as they realized that people were buying it, they were so excited.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Just like that little taste of like, wow, if I work harder, I'll make more money. That was awesome. Like I feel like that was such an invaluable lesson. I will never forget my kids selling toilet paper door to door.
Dude, that's amazing. That's
cool.
That is so cool.
So
that was a crazy time.
So now I like want to be more aware of other opportunities like that where my kids can like capitalize on an opportunity.
Yeah, just a chance to where you can teach them those types of lessons is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Let me ask you this, dude. What's your big? What gets you excited, man? Because you're still in sales. What are some of your long-term goals? Any investments that you're like excited to get into, or you and Katie looking to like maybe buy a bigger house, a faster car? What do you guys like?
So yeah,
what makes you guys? What gets you guys excited? You guys travel? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so I've never been like big into like cars or
flashy stuff.
Houses. Like that is not me. I'm more just like I'm a simple Idaho farm boy.
Yeah.
This is what I am. Over the last couple of years, I would say I've become more intrigued by like new challenges. I think when we, like in our early ages in life, like sometimes it's kind of hard to articulate, but like we kind of want to have fun. And sometimes we avoid things that are difficult because maybe it's not as fun. Mm-hmm. And the older that I get, the more that I recognize that if it's a little bit difficult, there's probably something better waiting on the other side. And I've had some like hard lessons over the last few years that like opened up my perspective on that. Like if you want, I'd love to talk about like this for a little bit if this topic is intriguing to you.
No, 100%.
So I grew up hating running. So I'll give you an example of like something that happened in my life that like changed my perspective on running. Like I played football. Did you play football?
Until I got a concussion.
Then
I switched to basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like impossible to play football and not have concussions? So I was pretty fast, and the track coach wanted me to come run track, and I was like, no, I don't like running. I play football, but I don't want to run. And he's like, well, I have 100 meter. It's the same distance as the football field. I was like, all right, I'll do that. So that's like, I mean, we had to run a mile in school growing up.
Yeah.
But besides running a mile in school, I had never really run. I hated running.
Yeah.
Running was stupid.
I still hate running. I'm working on it.
Cool. we can come back to that.
Yeah.
So I married into a family of a bunch of runners, which was kind of like, I was okay with it, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of weird. I still felt that way, but my mother-in-law, she had run a bunch of marathons, and she, in 2019, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and my brothers-in-law, 4 of them, at a family event with me there, were like, hey, mom's going to be suffering from chemotherapy, and we want to suffer with her, so we're going to run a marathon. Cory, you should join us. And I was like so mad inside.
You can't turn that down.
Like, I have to say yes. So I'm like, sure. I'm like, let's do it. So I started training with them, and it was awful, man. Like, I just absolutely hated it. Like, I was so just annoyed that it had played out that way and that I had kind of gotten sucked into it. But I love my mother-in-law, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna
Support.
like, yeah, we'll figure this out. I'll do it. Well, in just like a crazy turn of events for like I completely changed my paradigm in life. I randomly started having seizures. Have I ever talked to you about this?
Uh-uh.
Do you know this about me?
I had no idea.
Yeah, in 2019. So it was part of like the running, and I think it goes back to football. I'll come back to that in a minute, but like I think it has to do with concussions from playing football. So like I started randomly having seizures. Well, it turns out like I was bleeding on my brain from all of the running.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if I had never started running, it may not have ever happened. So I think because of the running, they were able to like diagnose that I needed to have brain surgery.
Oh my gosh.
So fall 2019, like late 30s, healthy dude.
Wait, is this middle of COVID too? Or right before?
Yeah, it would have been, it was fall 2019. So yeah, like right before
Jeez.
COVID, yeah. So like, long story short on that, I ended up having brain surgery, and was kind of bitter that I didn't get to like finish what I had started, like something that was so, like I was doing that for my mother-in-law, and like that didn't pan out, and just kind of like bitter towards life in general.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm healthy, I work.
You're like, why?
Work hard, like
Yeah.
I didn't deserve that, It's kind of just like a crazy experience. And then, so it was like a 6-month period where basically I wasn't even able to exercise, because if I would exercise, then my heart rate would increase and I would have seizures. So like crazy things that had happened. Like I had a seizure while blowing up a pool toy with my kids
Oh my gosh.
and face plant on the concrete. If I had like fallen into the pool,
Oh
my
gosh.
kids would not have been able to get me out. Like
Yeah.
I could have easily died
Oh my
at any point in this
gosh.
process.
That's
So
insane.
after that, just it changed my perspective on life. This is like one of those stories that like sometimes you just have to have like a challenging experience in life that changes your appreciation for something as simple as being able to run.
Well,
So after I recovered from brain surgery, I was like, well, I guess I should finish what I started. So I finished training and I ran a marathon. Then after that, I ran another one. And it's kind of like Forrest Gump. It's like, well, I'll just keep running. So like in the last couple of years, I've run 3 marathons,
dude, that's so cool.
which sounds insane, but it's like I just had a different appreciation for being alive.
Wow.
Like, it's such a blessing that we are alive. We're all going to die someday,
Yeah.
but you die because you lived. So it's like, we're alive. Like, let's live. It's like, that's what we're doing in this job. Like every single day we have to be motivated to go out there and like put in the time. Every day is not fun. Like running and training for a marathon isn't necessarily fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like some days it's cold or it's rainy or whatever, or you just didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
You still go train. So it just kind of like changed my perspective on life.
That's freaking sweet, dude. I had no idea you went through that. I had no clue.
Nice to catch up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said like, I hate running. You said you're not a runner. Dude, I still don't consider myself a runner.
Yeah.
But like in our industry, like think of all the rookies that we meet that are like, well, I'm not a door-to-door sales guy.
Just got off the phone with a guy 2 hours ago on our team that's saying stuff like that. He's like, yeah, sales isn't for me. And it's like, dude. Yeah.
It's a choice. Like, I think it's pretty empowering to know that like we can be what we want to be. Like I never wanted to be a runner. I still don't really want to be a runner, but I did it, and like I'm proud of it. I don't really know that I would care if I never ran a marathon again. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But it's when we are willing to make the sacrifice and recognize that when there is a challenge or an opportunity to like tackle something that's difficult, that's how you grow as a person. So like this, like kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, like when you're making choices in life and trying to figure out like which path to take, if you take the easy path, your opportunity to grow is pretty slim.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most jobs are. Most
Yeah.
9-to-5 jobs is not as much opportunity for growth. You're going to work for someone else the rest of your life.
Right.
That's why people don't want to do door-to-door sales, because it's hard.
Tough.
It's a challenge. So like be willing to take the challenge and like step up to the plate and watch the person that you can develop into, like the tenacity, the grit, like having thick skin and like being able to push through difficult times and sell for when it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else quit that day apparently, or I don't know, just maybe
something
couldn't get into houses, but like
Yeah.
those kind of stories, like it changes the type of person that you are.
Do the hard shit.
Yes. So if you will embrace the difficulty of life, that's where the opportunity for like greater long-term benefits,
Mm-hmm.
they're there. Like I'm way healthier now because I've been running.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
I hope at least.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Yeah.
But I would so I heard that also too, like biologically our bodies are built to go through hard things. When we put our bodies under stress, exercise,
Yes.
cold showers, right? The cold plunges right now everybody's into.
Yep.
Like by putting your body under that difficult stress, it releases all sorts of good health benefits.
Yep.
It's better for us.
Strengthens your immune system and yeah.
Doing the hard things.
Yeah, there's like the cliches that like, you know, diamonds are made when they're like, when it's put under pressure. Yeah, it's the pressure. Like embrace the pressure in life. If you'll just embrace the pressure, like it'll be worth it.
How many guys are they just look for that comfort, right? It's like I feel like maybe just the generations are getting a little soft. Have you read the book Hard Times Create Strong Men?
Mm-mm.
Dude, you would love that one. So he talks about the cycle of so as maybe a culture or a country or world, when we go through hard times,
Mm-hmm.
it creates strong men. And then the next part is strong men create good times.
Mm-hmm.
So we're living in like a time of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And then good times create weak men because you get fat and happy.
Fat and happy. Yep.
And then weak men create hard times.
And it
it's a
just
cycle.
goes around and around.
Hard times create. So
Yep.
it's like we're in this time period right now where we've kind of been like living in luxury and fat and happy as, you know, as a generation maybe. And yeah, we're getting soft. I feel like yeah, we got to be gritty. We got to be gritty again. Like I think about, I don't know if you ever think about this, but I think about like our great grandparents that grew up in the building the house out of logs and
Yes.
cooking their food over a campfire.
Clearing a forest to make a field so they could grow food.
Insane.
Clearing a forest.
Insane.
Yeah. Most of us could not handle that.
Not
Like,
even
a couple of days,
close.
we'd be like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like crazy to think how gritty like our ancestors used to be, and like how we couldn't even think about doing stuff like that. Somehow we got to find ways to, I think, find hard things to do just to maintain that.
Yes.
Like you said, do the marathon, do the cold plunge, do whatever it is. It's like tackle the difficult stuff.
No doubt.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like at that point, like when we're talking about our grandparents and stuff, like they were working when they were little kids, you know, they were contributing somehow on the farm. They were doing something. Like people started working at a young age. I think it's less likely now that people are working younger. We don't grow up on farms. Like you can't get your kids a job at McDonald's or whatever. Like it's more difficult. So, I still think it's important that as much as we can, like we find ways that kids can be learning to work.
Help around the house, things like that.
I make my
Chores.
kids play the piano.
Oh, that's cool. They all play?
They do.
Do you play the piano?
I can, yes.
You can?
My kids are almost better than I am now, though.
They've surpassed your level?
Yeah, which is cool. I'm like proud of that. But yeah, it's a way that my kids can learn like discipline and learn to do something hard. It may not be physically hard, but like
Mentally.
it takes dedication, mental stamina and stuff. which I hope will pay rewards later.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it will. Yeah, you have an awesome family. How's Katie doing?
She's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's great.
she's hanging in there. She like you traveling?
No.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Yep. Does she come with
It's
you
only
ever?
just
Well, I
summer.
guess you still have the kids at home, so she stays
Yeah.
home.
Still at home.
Are your where's your family live? Like your parents? Are they still in Idaho?
Idaho. Yep. And her family's all there in Arizona, so
Arizona.
get to be close to her family.
It's good to help. Yeah, it's nice to have help. They
Mm-hmm.
can help out a little bit. Well, cool, man. Well, Cory, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here, Trent.
Anything else you want to cover?
So yeah, I guess like in wrapping up, like first, Trent, thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah, it's been
Good to
great.
be here again. It's fun to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that there's still like a whole nother decade of stories that come even after this.
Yeah.
I guess if anything, like take away from our conversation today, I just hope that people embrace the challenging things of life and don't take the easy way out. Especially since I'm in solar and I love solar. I think sometimes, regardless of whatever industry you're in, like people look at solar and they think it's going to be easy money. So don't come to do solar if you think it's just going to be easy money. It's not. It's hard work. So I'm happy. I love doing solar, but you can make great money in any industry, including smart home, including pest control, whatever. So wherever you're at, whatever industry you're in, just keep working hard. If you want to come work hard here too, but just know that even in solar, you got to work hard. So
Amen.
don't take the easy way out. Embrace the challenge in life and just double down and work hard.
Love it. Thanks, man.
So,
Appreciate
thanks.
you.
It's good to be here.
That was awesome. Appreciate you, my guy. Yeah. Let's get it.
What time is it?
If you like the podcast, we would love the support. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.